Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, people. It's me again. I got a package through the door today, and as soon as I kind of felt the weight, I understood what it is. And if you've seen the title, well, there you go. Pretty much, I think hell has frozen over, or at least got a little bit frosty. I have bought a Mac. Yes, it's true. For anyone that knows me, they know that I'm not really, even though I do like computers, I'm not really someone who would go out and buy a Mac or go full force into, buying all the Apple stuff, like iPads, iPhones. I'd rather stick, personally, with the things I like. Windows and Android. Oh, yes, by the way, I do have another cold. Fantastic. You're probably wondering about the build, if you're someone who follows the channel. Well, the build is kind of delayed because of several things. I'll get into that a bit later. I think we should unwrap this because I actually really want to get to use this. Yep, what I got was a MacBook Air. Now, what this is a MacBook Air 2012. This one is, compared to, say, the last model before it, comes with USB 3. This one had USB 2. It all looks fantastic. I didn't pay too much for this. Only about 200, which people say only, but considering that, I mean, you cannot get a MacBook, or indeed many Macs of this kind of vintage, for that price. You just can't. It's impossible. You may think, well, is there a slight catch? Yeah, there is. There is a slight screen defect. The bottom part of the screen, about a centimetre up, it has like horizontal lines on it. But this doesn't matter. The reason why I bought this is it's going to be plugged into a display most of the time, which was the intention of any Mac that I bought anyway. I've been trying for a while to get a Mac for about 200 or under, and thinking, well, this probably isn't going to happen, but this did. So I can now actually say I am a Mac owner, and yes, I do feel dirty all over. I think we better open this up. They do make a big thing about how you can open it with one hand, and yes, you can. You can open it with one hand. Ugh. Needs to be cleaned a bit. Well, that's beautiful. I think we should try and... hang on a second. I think we should try turning it on. I never thought I'd hear that in my house. Yeah, you can see the screen defect now. That, I'm not sure what that is. It could be that simply the display the display cable on the inside is actually defective, because I looked up how this works, and apparently the display cable goes all the way through a hinge, which is interesting. So if this has been dropped or manipulated at some point, it could be that simply that's all I need to replace. And from what I understand, you can get them for £10 genuine. So that could just be a simple fix. If not, doesn't matter, it's going to be plugged into a display anyway.
OS 10 includes a built-in screen reader called VoiceOver.
Well, thank you.
If you know how to use VoiceOver, press Command F5 now to turn it on and set up your Mac. If you would like to learn how to use VoiceOver to set up your Mac, press the Escape key.
No, I'm good. So I've just put it on this thing, just in case it overheats, because, you wouldn't want that to happen. I think I'll just set the thing up. I'll get back to you when I'm on the desktop. Ah, this little doozy. I've had so much trouble with this. I would advise anyone, if you're setting up your Mac, don't turn this on. And the reason why I'm saying this is you don't need it. Unless you're absolutely paranoid, or you're some kind of person who, has very sensitive data on their Mac, or, you're just someone who is going out of the country for a while, don't turn this on, because it'll bite you in the arse when you come to sort of do recovery mode and other things like that. So, no. Turn you off. There we go. I'll just film the rest of this because we're not that far away. Set time zone automatically. No, I don't want to do... I've got to turn on location services. Okay. Okay. This is boring. Well, there we are. We're at the El Capitan Mountain. I do like that picture, it's pretty good. Everything's sorted, the Wi-Fi is on. Let's test the internet. This trackpad is really sensitive, and I'm clicking on things when I'm moving it. which is not good, but maybe I can adjust the settings a bit more. Yeah, Google. Good old Google. Yay! It worked, and pretty fast as well. So I think I'll just get on setting this up, and I may be back later. Okay, so it's been a couple of days, 2 or 3 maybe. I've just been evaluating the unit and just, you know, getting to grips with it, and I'm actually really liking it. More than I actually thought I would. That's not to say I thought it was going to be shit, but, you know, I expected just to be playing around with it, learning the ropes, you know, learning it, I suppose, the only way I could put it. But I've actually been using it as my sort of laptop for about 2-3 days. The Dell's hardly got a look in. I won't be doing that all the time though, just that at times it'll be brought out when I really can't be bothered to put the Dell on the thing, because the weight of this thing, it's virtually nothing. You do feel it when you sort of pick it up. It's just shut itself off at the moment. Oh, I'm watching a bit of It's My Natural Colour as well. Hey Tom. Oh look, face detection has kicked in. When I sort of pick it up, you know, you feel it in your hand, but when it's open, it's somehow the weight distribution changes and it sort of feels lighter. I don't understand how that works. And it feels really good. So, yeah, I'll just open it back up. And I've also already done a Time Machine backup. You can never be too careful. I mean, there's not much on there. I think there's only like, let's have a think, 20 to 25 gig taken up. Not much, but it's worth doing a Time Machine backup anyway. And this hard drive's only 160 gig, so it may be used as well be used for something. So yeah, I mean, you can still see the damage at the bottom. It's really interesting. I'm wondering actually if that is a panel issue and not a cable issue, because when I leave the mouse pointer there, it's not doing anything. It has to do it further up. Yeah, if you do that, so if you put the pointer there, you can see, well maybe you can't see on this one, but it gradually changes. So I'm thinking it could actually be a panel issue, not an input issue. I don't know, I might experiment with getting one of those £10 cables. But it is really good, and it's all set up. Had to put the dock on the side because of the damage. Got all my file sharing apps there, it's all lovely. Not much else to say. It's pretty cut and dry, this one. Piper bought a Mac, never expected it. So just to recap, what am I going to use this Mac for? Initially it was going to be I was just going to use it for fiddling around with, learning how a Mac worked very sort of deeply for my job. It would help in that regard. But to be honest, I'm just going to use it for everything. It's my odds and sods laptop now, even though it did cost a fair bit to be exactly that kind of thing, in that usage scenario. But yeah, that's what it's going to be for. It'll be connected to this display behind using an HDMI switcher and a KVM. I have yet to buy those. But it doesn't really matter about the screen damage that's on there, because it'll just be whacked up to 1080p and I'll have essentially access to the Mac operating system, which is another reason I got it. I just wanted access in some kind of way. You can build Hackintoshes, but they're apparently a big old headache. I may still do that. Since I do have access to a Mac, I can get the installers and all that kind of stuff. So it's really good. I think I'll just do a quick tour of what's on this thing and then we'll just wrap it up. So starting on the top, you've got the usual Apple logo that illuminates. No surprise there. On the left side you have your MagSafe adapter, which I still think is one of the best inventions in laptops ever. One single USB 3 port, the mic combo jack, and I think you can see it. Oh, there it is, centre of the shot. I think that's the microphone, something like that. Anyway, on the other side you've got your SD card slot, another USB 3 and your Thunderbolt. Now this will be where I put the adapter when I buy it, because it'll be a DisplayPort, which is electrically the same and the socket is exactly the same. But you need that to get it out to HDMI. Just look at the thinness of this thing. There's just nothing to it. So yeah. Okay, I think I'll just wrap up this video. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and yeah, Piper bought a Mac. Hell has most definitely frozen over. Come to think, I need to put the heating on. See ya.